Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about group 18 elements, which are also known as inert gas or noble gases, and they are included in p block elements. We have discussed so far the introduction of group 18 elements in our live session. Now I'm going to discuss about the chemical properties of group 18 elements, because we have already discussed physical properties in the live session. So chemical properties includes that we all know that noble gases have completely filled octets, so they are very less reactive, they are chemically inert. And noble gases except helium, because helium have only 2 electrons, so we can say that it is containing a kind of duplet. And so noble gases like helium have completely filled ns2, whereas for all other elements I can say the general electronic configuration is ns2 np6. So they have high ionization enthalpy because it is very difficult to remove an electron. What do we mean by ionization enthalpy? The energy required to remove an electron from an isolated gaseous atom. Since these gases have completely filled, or we can say these gases have octet, so it is very difficult to remove electron from these noble gases, and they have more positive electron gain enthalpy. And the reactivity of noble gases has been investigated occasionally ever since their discovery, but all attempts to force them to react to form the compounds were unsuccessful for quite a few years. See what I have discussed, that they are chemically inert, but still there were many experiments. We have tried many a times that whether these noble gases react with one or other elements, but all in vain. After few years, there was a scientist we will study. He was very successful in attempting experiments on xenon. Xenon is also one of the noble gas, and when he reacted xenon with fluorine in different molar ratios, he found that xenon is the element which is at least reactive when he compared to other noble gases. In March 1962, Neil Bartlett at the University of British Columbia observed the reaction of a noble gas. First, he prepared a red compound which is formulated as O2 plus PtF6 minus. This is not very important. You can just remember this O2 plus PtF6 minus, because this is the compound he used while he was going through his experiment, right? Next comes chemical properties. He then realized that the first ionization enthalpy of molecular oxygen was almost identical with that of xenon. What I have told just a minute before, that xenon was the element which was to some extent successful in reaction when different concentration of fluorine or oxygen were taken and the experiments were performed at different temperature. So what the scientist did, he made efforts to prepare same type of compound with xenon and was successful in preparing another red colored compound Xc plus PtF6 minus. So he was having compound O2 PtF6 minus, but now he replaced that with xenon and he exactly got the same compound by mixing PtF6 and xenon. Next is chemical properties. In this, after this discovery, a number of xenon compounds, mainly with most electronegative atom fluorine and oxygen, have been synthesized. So this also comes in short questions के फ्लोरीन एंड ऑक्सीजन जो है वो कौन से नोबल गैस के साथ रिएक्ट किए थे. द आंसर विल बी xenon. Xenon is the element, or xenon is the only noble gas which form different varieties of compounds with fluorine and oxygen. The compounds of krypton are very fewer. Only the difluoride has been studied in detail. Compounds of radon have not been isolated but only identified. So krypton and radon in short do not form so many compounds but very rare compounds, and no true compounds of argon, neon and helium are yet known. Now xenon fluorine compounds. So if Xc, look at the first reaction, if xenon reacts with fluorine at 673 Kelvin and 1 bar, it forms xenon difluoride, right? And here in the bracket it is written xenon in excess, means xenon को हमने ज़्यादा concentration में लिया है in comparison to fluorine, so we can say the product formed is xenon difluoride. And if I take xenon and fluorine in the ratio of 1:5, and the temperature I'm increasing up to 873 Kelvin, and pressure I'm increasing up to 7 bar. The product that it is forming is XeF4, xenon tetrafluoride. Next, if I take the ratio from 1:20 and I decrease the temperature and increase the pressure, then compound formed is xenon hexafluoride. So XeF6 can also be prepared. We can also see that XeF4 plus O2F2, oxygen difluoride, when these two react, they can also form XeF6. And it needs to be noted here that XeF2, xenon difluoride, tetrafluoride and xenon hexafluoride are colorless crystalline solids. They don't have any particular color. They are powerful fluorinating agents, and they are readily hydrolyzed even by traces of water. Means they react with water even if minute quantity is present. For example, if XeF2 reacts with water, it forms xenon plus HF, that is hydrogen fluoride, plus oxygen. Now, the structure of the three xenon fluorides can be deduced from the VACPR, that is valence shell electron pair repulsion theory, already studied in class 11. Just have a look if you have any kind of confusion. XeF2 and XeF4 have linear and square planar structures. In the next slide, we are going to see how they look like. XeF6 has 7 electron pairs and would thus have a distorted octahedral structure because one lone pair is present, and we all know more is the lone pair, more will be the distortion in the structure, less is the lone pair, regular will be the structure. If one lone pair is present, according to XeF6, 6 bonds it is forming, so it should have a regular octahedral structure, but due to presence of this one lone pair, the structure we will get is distorted octahedral. This is first is linear structure of XeF2. We can see xenon is forming 2 bonds with fluorine and 3 lone pairs are present, which are present on equatorial position. Horizontal is equatorial position and fluorine are on axial position. In XeF4 we can see 2 lone pairs are present, one is above the plane, second is below the plane, and xenon is forming 4 bonds with the fluorine and it is forming square planar structure. Now xenon fluorine compounds, if react with PF5, that is phosphorus pentafluoride, then this type of compounds are formed, XeF plus PF6 minus. And if XeF4 reacts with antimony pentafluoride, then it forms XeF3 plus and SbF6 minus. These reactions are not so important. You can just learn the reaction, that is XeF2 plus PF5. Xenon oxygen compounds. Xenon oxygen compounds, if we can see that if xenon tetrafluoride reacts with water, it is forming Xe plus XeO3 plus HF plus O2. Now all these reactions are important. Structure of xenon with fluorine are important. Reaction of xenon fluorides with water is important. What kind of products they are giving, you have to learn these reactions. Look at the last point, that is XeO3 is colorless explosive solid, pyramidal molecular structure, whereas XeOF4 is colorless volatile liquid, square pyramidal molecular structure. Now this is your homework, that you have to draw the structures of XeF2, XeF4, XeF6, XeO3, XeOF4 and XeO2F2 in your notebook, and please send this to me. Now this is distorted octahedral structure. Second is XeOF4 structure, 1 lone pair, double bond with oxygen and 4 single bond with fluorine. Pyramidal structure, XeO3, 1 lone pair and 3 double bonds with the oxygen. Now what are the uses of noble gas? Helium is non-inflammable, and light gas, we all know that it is used in filling balloons for meteorological observation, and it is also used in gas-cooled nuclear reactors. Then comes uses of noble gases. Uses of noble gases, we can say that one of the very important use of liquid helium is that it is found as a cryogenic agent for various experiments at low temperature. And it is also used to produce and sustain powerful superconducting magnets, which form an essential part of modern NMR spectrometers. NMR means it is a kind of spectrometric technique and magnetic resonance imaging MRI system for clinical diagnosis. In NMR spectrometer, what happens is that if we are having some unknown compound with us, it gives us the idea of number of hydrogen present in this, and on the basis of number of hydrogen and functional group, it gives different kinds of peaks at different heights. So from that we can detect that what kind of unknown compound is present with us. And it is used as a diluent for oxygen in modern diving apparatus because of its very low solubility in blood. For sea divers, this is used as a diluent for oxygen. So this was all about group 18. Before this lecture, I have also sent you the link for noble gases in the previous class. Please go through that link also, watch the complete video, and if you are having doubt, please let me know. From the next class we will start with a new chapter. Thank you so much.